Welcome, everyone. Greg was kind enough to ask me to just say a few words on his behalf and introduce him this evening, and I'm very pleased and proud to do so. I met Greg, I was trying to remember how many years ago, but I kind of have a feeling it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And we sat down and had a number of coffees and discussions about the city and the school board and the county and how he felt about its community. And Greg was just such an impressive individual to me, not necessarily with particular issues that he had, but with how he thought, how he considered his community and how he considered his family. And so I call him a friend. I'm very proud to call him a friend, and we still meet to this day, occasionally at a Starbucks and have coffee. As his beautiful daughter said, I was school board trustee from 1999 to 2005, so they can bring the old goats back out of retirement for some of you. And I saw Duncan right back here hiding. I was on the board with Duncan Webb and John Munns and people like Gary Bass and Melody Tominski, so those are a lot of old names from the past, but at least I've had a little bit of experience on the school board, and that usually allows me, and I talked to a lot of candidates both for council, various committees and the school board, and that experience really allowed me, I think, a great opportunity to kind of learn what it takes to be a great trustee for Plano ISD. I've always appreciated Greg's take on the world, maybe his issues that he has that he'd like to address, and I think those are fantastic, and you can read his website, and I'm sure he's going to talk about those tonight. But I'll tell you from my perspective what I think the most important trait of a great trustee is. If you go in with one issue or two or three, whether it be a Plano City Council or a PISD school board, I think you're going to be disappointed because that issue will come and go with lightning speed. And then you will have the rest of your term, be it 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, to be able to sit with and address a lot of other issues that you may not have contemplated would come up. That was certainly my experience on the school board. So I don't really look so much at a candidate. I always love to hear their issues and find out what they're all about. But I really don't look at them on those issues per se. I look at how they think. I want to know what their process is about collecting information, critical thinking, visiting with all the parties, trying to come up with the best solution. And not just the best solution for today, because a lot of the issues the school board decides will be issues for 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road. And it's a very difficult balance to strike. I'm here to tell you that this man and I have spent a lot of hours together, and I appreciate his business acumen, I appreciate his thought process, his critical thinking skills, I appreciate his ethics, and I really appreciate that he's a man of the people. I don't know how many doors you've knocked on, Greg, in the last couple of years, much less the last couple of weeks, but this is a man that goes out and really finds out what's going on in the community and tries to bring his thoughts to bear. And I have no doubt that he's going to be on the Board of Trustees. I certainly support him. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce my good friend and hopefully the next PISD trustee, Greg Myer.
Thank you. So when you get into an endeavor like this, there are literally hundreds of people you have to thank. And so let me start off by trying to do that. So Ralph, I cannot thank you enough for those kind words. I greatly appreciate it. Mike, same thing to you. You and I have been friends for even longer than Ralph and I have been friends, but thank you for your prayer tonight and your ongoing and unending support. Also to my campaign manager, Jesse, and my son, Jack, is here as well. So thank you both. And then to my wife, I can't thank you enough. You were the one I had to convince to let me do this. Fortunately, I got her over to my side last summer. She wasn't real excited Saturdays ago when it was 46 degrees and we were knocking on doors. But anyway, she's behind me 100%, and so thank you, man, for that as well. One other thank you, Brian Livingston, who could not be here tonight, is the owner of Celebrity Cafe in Texadelphia. So please enjoy some of the great food. Please stop for lunch here at the cafe or in Texadelphia in the next couple of weeks. And if you see Brian, please tell him you're a friend of mine. He said thank you. So a great man, and I appreciate his help tonight. When you take on an endeavor like this, there are two questions that you get asked at pretty much every event and every forum, and my friend Al here can testify to that. But the first one is, why are you running? If you don't mind, I'd like to skip that one for a moment. I'll get to that in a moment. The second question is, what are you going to do if you win? I always like to say, well, I don't like to answer the question if you win. I like to say when I win, right? So A couple of things I want to point out. Teachers are the absolute lifeblood of Plano ISD schools. We need to do more to support our teachers. We need to pay for more of their health insurance. I was at Ski Plano a couple of weeks ago, was fortunate enough to sit at a table with 4 teachers, and every single one of them said the exact same thing. That health insurance premiums are taking up way too much of their salary. They don't have enough left over to take care of their families. So that's one thing I think we need to do. Diversity of teachers is another concern to me. 63% of the students in the Plano ISD are not white, but only 24% of our teachers are not white. So I think there's a discrepancy there. We need to try and recruit teachers that are more diverse to really match the student population that we have here in Plano ISD. The second point I want to make is that students with special needs are more than 10% of the student population in Plano ISD. I think we can be doing more for those students. And the more we do for those students, the more independent they will be, and in later life will be less dependent upon government services, which is a big priority for me. So we need to do more for students with special needs. The other point I wanted to make, when you go to a school board meeting or when you go into a school, especially in the senior high schools, you always hear about the students who are going to Harvard, or that are National Merit Scholarship finalists, things like that. There's a subset of the student population that is not going to go to college. And I think we need to be doing more for them in Plano in terms of career and technical education. I was at a meeting yesterday at Capital One. Where's my friend from Capital One? Thank you, Monica. Fantastic meeting where they were talking about the intersection of public education and business, right? I mean, essentially the public education's mission is to churn out graduates who can then be employed by businesses, right? So there was a speech by the Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD superintendent, and some of the programs they have, we don't have here in Plano. There was a graphic design program that they were offering to their students that would be fantastic here in Plano. And then I spoke to the publisher of Plano Profile and said, you know what, I'm going to call you and we're going to get a program for Plano ISD students. So there's more we can be doing for students that are not going to go to college. There are good careers out there that provide for good incomes that where you don't have to have a college degree, and yet they can't be offshore, right? I work in technology and my job has been offshore many times. I don't want that for the next generation of kids. So one of my focuses will be increasing programs in the career and technology education fields. One of my last points is we need to raise the achievement of all Plano students, every single one of them. How are we going to do that? Is we're going to have more pre-K programs. Pre-K programs that emphasize reading, foreign language, and math. Those are the key things to make sure that the students we get in kindergarten are ready and on par with students that come from private schools. So we want to make sure that those students are ready for kindergarten, and they can compete and succeed at the elementary level, the middle school level, and the high school level. So now I'll get to the first question that I skipped a moment ago. Why am I doing this? Should I be committed, right? A couple of folks believe that. My wife might be one of them. But the reason I'm doing this is that I'm a servant leader. I believe that leaders are at heart servants, that the goal is to serve the community. My other goal in running is I want to leave the district in a better condition than I find it. Right now it's pretty good. My kids who are going to graduate in a little over a year, they've gotten a very good education. So I'm not doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for the next generation of kids. Like where's Kate? Who's in first grade. I'm doing this for Kate and the kids younger than Kate to make sure that they get an even better education than my kids have received. Thank you. And I'll be honest, the harsh truth I think is that our schools may have slipped a little bit. I think there are people leaving Plano to go to Frisco and Allen and McKinney. So we need to raise the bar as a board of trustees, not just for the administration and for the teachers, but for the board as well. We need to be constantly pushing for better improvement. A couple of my team members were thinking about being here tonight, but at work I've got a team of 8. And I drive them crazy because I'm always asking them, how can we do better? How can we be better for our clients? How can we do better for our customers? And serving on the board of trustees, my customers will be the 54,570 students that we have in Plano ISD. That's the reason I'm running. That's what I'm about. I ask for your support. I ask for your votes. And I want to thank every single one of you for coming out tonight. It's truly an honor to me, and it warms my heart that you're willing to take time out of your day to come see me. So thank you. God bless you, and I ask for your support.